Hello there, I'm John. Today I'm gonna try something a bit different. Instead of loading the whole walkthrough, unedited and uncut, I'm gonna just go through the template of the build and show a few examples and showcases of combat and try to make a video guide. So this is the build. You start Hilda. You can also pick Leotheses, the hybrid guy, but I think this has a much better early game because you start with athletics and leg sweep is amazing for this build. And on the other side, you are only a bit stronger on the mid game before you have your bone charm going on. Late game you have life leech, mana leech, and less damage taking on the bone charm, and is so much better than Leo. So I went with Hilda. You start with leg sweep and these two asset skills, then dip a bit on the survival tree, then pick dash as soon as you can get it. At level 10 you already have right on target, and from there the build is practically done. It's amazing how strong it feels on the mid game. After you finish with the survival tree, you start picking magic. The shift is one of the best skills in the game. More so if you have at least 20 perception, because the bonus range is super strong. You can always bring any mage or any archer or something, anything ranged that is a threat. You can bring it to the melee. So you have someone at melee and you swap their places, and suddenly you are hitting the main target, the priority, and the front line is 5 to 7 turns away from you. So this also works for whenever you are getting surrounded to flee. Is so much. I cannot imagine playing half of the builds I play without this point at the very least. It's such an amazing skill. Then you go with Geomancy. It's not as strong as other options for a hybrid with magic, but I was playing Permadeath, so this is so much less damage taking between the seal of power and the boulders. It's a no-brainer. If you wanna play super safe, you can invest this amount of points in maybe only Arcanistics or something else and have a much higher damage output. But I went for the safe route. I didn't want today. I was playing Permadeath and I wanted to play something super safe, and this is one of the safest, at the very least, until late game. Well, even on late game, the only thing that was able to be a threat to me was the diagrams on the vampiric dungeons. The tier 5, there's a super beefy vampire that has an knockback and it has tons of leech and everything. So whenever any of those were in a fight, I had to leave them for the last one. And if there were more than 2, I have to disengage, come back and shout and kill them one by one, because they were able to outleech my damage, and then it was I can kill them, but I take too much armor damage. So the main downside of this build is armor damage taking once you start wearing tier 5 unique items. They are so expensive to repair, it's super absurd that you have to lurk and search every vendor for repair kits and pick all the metal scraps. This point is super important, by the way, the repair point. And yeah, you can definitely do it without spending a dime repairing on the vendor. But it's very annoying to deal with. Is one of the main downsides of this build is the build is immortal. There's nothing in the game that is a threat other than those tier 5 vampires. If you get more than one at once. But it's super annoying to be repairing. Like after you are maximum level, if you see a single bandit or something, you wanna run because you don't want to get hit and lose durability. You can also go on tier 3 armor anywhere else but tier 5 dungeons and just repair at your caravan guy. At that point it's not, but I was playing Permadeath and I wanted to be super safe, so I was wearing my higher tier armor everywhere, so it's a bit annoying, but it was the only downside of it. So anyway, these are a few clips I want to show to give some context to the build. For example, this is just right after leaving town, making your character. This is level 1. The first few bandits you meet. You just dive with your asset skills, then right after you disengage with your leg sweep. It works so well. If you bleed them, they just die on through the bleed, and you barely get touched. You just have to use your spacing. Try to never get hit more than. Here is some other example of using choke points to kill any big number of monsters with ranged threats before you get your dashes and your shifts. This is tier 2 cave on what, level 4, level 5? So yeah, as soon as you get tier 2 armor sets, you are good to go everywhere. Like, yeah, I was playing Permadeath, but if I'm playing normal, I might check tier 3 caves and stuff like that to see if I can push the limits. Here I just felt super safe. On big groups, you also need, you always have to use your environment. There's, even if you are playing on plains, there's always bushes, trees, whatever. You can mindfuck the pathing of half of the guys, and more so with leg sweep or any keep distance, any of this skill, type of skill of maneuver one tile away. You have on a staff and on spears also. They are amazing because you guarantee that you are not getting retaliation damage. Here, this is a super good example of smoke bombs and nets. This is a really hard fight for a lot of people. Okay? Look how easy it becomes with a single smoke bomb and a net. This is level 9 or 8. I think I don't have right on target yet, so this should be level 9. Boom! The mage is gone. He did literally nothing before dying because he was on the smoke half of the towns. And this guy was waiting outside of it. He was just waiting. Here I'm checking because I don't kill them that often. I was checking just to make sure that he didn't have any dash and stuff like that. And here net. And right now you have 0 counter, a lot of fumble, and I'm destroying you. Here we go. This was Troll at level 10. The full video is on YouTube. It's the previous one I did a lot before this one. Here obviously you have to use the dance. Use his pattern and always only hit him if he's not he has shock wave. There is shock wave up. Blah, blah, blah. Here you can see me. Also, this should be level 12 maybe. Killing my first crawlers. I did kill the troll before a single crawler, I think. I feel a bit cocky here because I'm taking barely any damage, so I'm not using the bear traps. So I was only using the nets. The life drain, the mana drain on the bone charms from the crawlers is amazing early on. Even on late game. On maximum level, maybe you don't need it anymore, so you should check, because at that point you have life drain from the Gulons and less damage taken from the trolls, and if you see that you don't actually need the mana drain, you should change the mana drain for either the bear fat for 10% more damage, weapon damage, or the troll the boar task for 10% cooldown reduction at that point. Here, the crawler are amazing to kill with any build, because they give so much experience and tier 4 items on the nest. This was a tier 3 helmet, but here I think I get a tier 4 boots. So this set was so good for me. So you see the crawler burrow is 708 SP, and the crawlers themselves are like 200, so it's close to 2000 SP per crawler camp, so they are so amazing SP. Here I show the ship in action. Melee is on top of you, you swap him for the ranged, and it's so good. And this is one level later, and I already have the boulder, and you can start seeing the strength of the hybrid gameplay. Here I don't have to pull them one by one, I just aggro them out and kill them at the door, blocking one of the space of the door, and suddenly a 2 wide section becomes 1 wide, unless they wanna hit the boulder. Mage shows up, so I teleport the mage for the melee. And here, the boulder is gone, but you should not panic. Everything is fine. Confusion, right now, this patch only, well, it gives you a less chance to hit a bit more barfire or something, but it's 10 to 50%, nothing to worry about. And if you don't move, you don't have the option to go randomly somewhere. So you only have to either hit them or cast something, and you are fine, you are good to go. So even before you have the point that makes boulders not make you confused whenever they die, you should be using boulder to block enemies and just make them hit you one by one. If you get confused, just throw another boulder and keep hitting. Nothing bad will happen to you unless you move. If you move here, you are misplaying. But yes, you can see I throw the boulder, they die. The choke point is amazing. Here you can see how to get the Gulong life leech on your bone charm. This is a way to cheese them. If you don't want to cheese them, you have to come past level 20 something when you have tier 4 items already, tier 4 set. As you can see, since they only have a one dash and I also have another dash, I can always outrun them because between leg sweep and dash I can run, so I was not afraid of them. And the only thing you need to do is to pull them to a bison, or with just one bison the Gulong wins, so you have to help the bison. But if there is multiple bisons, you just let the bisons kill, you get SP credit, kill credit, everything, and then you just come later to after the Gulong is dead. Here I feel quite confident, so I hit the Gulong and help the bison. Always check. Whenever you're doing this, you have to be checking, inspecting them both every turn to see what are the remaining HP. Am I gonna get wrecked if the bison dies sooner or whatever? If he swaps to you, you just dash away, leg sweep. Never ever ever try to fight a Gulong. Left here, the bison wins. Just dash away. If you dash away, the bison is never gonna hit you. And here, yes, the bison are on top. You lure them out with another shot. Eat bola. And here you have it. Your liver for your bone charm is ready. Here you can see a sample of late game of the power of shift and the hybridness of the build. Here I'm using the choke point to kill a horde of skeletons one after another. I know that the boss resurrect, but I don't care, because honestly I didn't think he was gonna resurrect that many, but it doesn't matter because I always have an out. Here I still have my Renounce potion, my life potions. I have so many options left, will to survive and all that stuff. But so I don't have any concerns about what's going to happen. It should be soon, I think. Here comes the resurrection. I know what's. I'm taking my turns. I think, oh, he's gonna resurrect. What should I do here? You know, bomb. Any other build here is fuck even with the potions because it's way too much. And even if you start killing, he's gonna have resurrect again. But here, I just shift. You know, this is the power of the shift. Here I'm thinking, should I smoke bomb? Should I not? And I'm super safe, so throw in the net. I can also boulder here, there, so I have a lot of mana. So, but yeah, I had the net on me, so why not? I didn't want to get confused here. He's gone. I level up. I can shift again if I want. and from here is done. I just won. This is another horde, but it's not that impressive. It's just once you start having boulders, you should be doing this, blocking the entrance with the boulder and killing them on a diagonal. Here you can see me. Once I have less damage taken on the boulders close to me, you can push to 25% damage taking, and you can start killing trolls for your bone charm if you want at this point. It's just super easy. You just ready yourself, cast your precast, add your Geomancy spells, put your boulders up. Always try to have as many as possible up. If you don't have, later you don't even need all the boulders to have 25% damage taking, because you have so many items. You have relics everywhere with less damage taking, the Justin set, the helmet, the cloak from the troll. So, and here you can see an example how to stand your ground once you are maximum level and you have all your build. Having your stone armor up is a priority, is essential. You should always have your stone armor up. If you have attacks up, but you are gonna lose your stone armor, or you don't have enough boulders adjacent to you, you should be using them. Why not? You are gonna take no damage if they are up, so just have them up, keep them up, and put them in a way where only one minion at a time can be hitting you. If they kill the boulder, whatever is out there doesn't matter, because you have later you have them every 3 turns or something, and yeah, you need to be putting them anyways for the Cell of Power bonus. So here this is tier 5. This is outside of the tier 5 dungeon, so these are tier 5 mobs. So, and you can see I'm melting through them, standing my ground, letting them do whatever they want. And finally, I'm gonna show the second boss fight of the game right now, and a tier 5 dungeon Uncut, without further commentary, so you can see what's going on with the build.